Hello everyone. Hopefully your studying for the 7.7 quiz is going well. I just want to do a few examples to hopefully help you study. I'll be doing 4A, 6A, number 7, as well as number 11. So let's start with number 4A. But before we begin even that question, you will note that here is the quadratic formula. Once again, you will be given the quadratic formula on your quiz, so you don't have to memorize it, but it's good to know kind of what it looks like. Okay, for our first example, I have 3x squared plus 5x equal to 9. And in order for us to use the quadratic formula to solve this quadratic equation, you need to first move the 9 over to the left-hand side. So the way that we're going to do that is by subtracting 9 from both sides. And once you do that, you'll get 3x squared plus 5x minus 9 equals 0. And then we're going to substitute each of the a, b, and c into the quadratic formula to see what we're going to get. So it's always useful to identify what a, b, and c are. So in this case, a is going to be 3, b is going to be 5, and c is going to be negative 9. Okay. So let's set up our quadratic formula. Negative 5 plus or minus bracket 5 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 9. And that, of course, is all underneath the same square root. And that will be divided by 2a, which is going to be 2 times 3. Okay. A calculator is very helpful for evaluating the individual parts, of course. So here's my calculator. So I have 5 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 9. That's going to be giving me 133. So I have 5 minus plus or minus the square root of 133, and this will be all over 6. So for question number 4, it only asks us to solve each quadratic equation. You do want to split it into these 2 parts and then just answer the question, what is x going to be equal to? So the first one is going to be negative 5 plus square root of 133 over 6. And the second will be negative 5 minus square root of 133 divided by 6. And once again, you can just use your calculator, evaluate each one of these. So I have negative 5 plus square root of 133 and then divided by 6. That will be approximately negative 2.76. And for the second, I have negative 5 minus the square root of 133 divided by 6. And that will give me negative. Wait, that doesn't look right. Let's try that again. Negative 5 plus square root of 133 divided by 6. Okay, so that other root is the negative 1. So this one will be 1.09 approximately. Okay. So if you are asked to just solve a quadratic equation, you could definitely leave your answers in decimal form if you like, especially if I ask you to, so leave it to the nearest 100 or whatever, and you can have some answer that looks like this. For number 6, it is a little bit different. It says to solve each equation, but state the solution as exact values. So this is the one where we want you to leave things with the square roots and everything else. Okay. Fortunately for us, this one, everything is on the right side already, so we just have to list out what a, b, and c are. A is going to be equal to 3, b is equal to negative 6, and c is equal to negative 1. Okay, so once again, I have my quadratic formula set up. X is equal to negative, in this case, negative 6. So that will be positive in the end, of course. Plus or minus negative 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 1. We'll put that underneath a square root. Okay. And it's going to be all over 2 times 3 once again. So for the next part, I have negative 6, which is going to be just 6, plus or minus. Here you can use a calculator to evaluate once again. Negative 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 1. That's going to be 48. And it's going to be over 6. So the book does want you to simplify your radical as much as you can. And hopefully you will notice that 48 is equal to 16 times 3. So you can actually simplify this quite a bit by doing the following. So I'm going to use a different color here for the simplification process. So 6 plus or minus 16 times 3. And once again, that will be underneath the square root sign. Divided by 6. Okay. The square root of 16 is going to be 4. So if you simplify the radical, you get 6 plus or minus 4 root 3 all over 6, which can be split into 2 parts. The first part will be, actually, before we even do that, it can be simplified further. 6 divided by 6 is going to be 1, so you have 1 plus or minus, and then, of course, the 4 over 3 can also be simplified a little bit. This gives you 2 over 3 here, so you get something like 1 plus or minus 2 root 3 over 3. And then finally, you might also want to write them out separately. So 1 plus, 2 root 3 over 3, as well as 1 minus 2 root 3 over 3. There's a few different ways for you to simplify your solution. This is just one of them. It really depends on the question, what your answer is going to look like. Excuse me. Try that again. Yeah. So it's always a good idea to put a box around your answers. I'm going to do that here. There we go. And why don't we do this? Question number 4a as well. And that's it. So the only difference is this one is a decimal approximation of the answer, and this one is an exact value. We're going to continue with question number 7. So this question is about a student council is holding a raffle to raise money for a charity fund. The profit function for the raffle is given to us, and so we're looking for the ticket price that will result in the student council breaking even on the raffle. So for them to break even, they need 0 profit. So here's 0 profit, and we're going to try to find out the cost of the ticket. So you can see that this is going to be another application of the quadratic formula. Okay, so we got to point out what A, B, and C are going to be. A is going to be equal to negative 25. However, before you attempt to do the question that way, you can make life a little bit easier for yourself by dividing everything by 25. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So actually, you can divide by negative 25. You get c squared, and then minus, okay, what is 500 divided by negative 25? Okay, negative 20. And finally, you can divide by 350 by 25 as well. Oops, I hit it twice. It's supposed to be 14. Plus 14. Okay, that does make our A, B, and C a lot smaller and a lot more manageable. A is going to be 1, B is going to be equal to negative 20, and C is equal to 14. Now, is it necessary for us to do that part? No, you can actually simply have just start out using the quadratic formula right away, but again, we do want to work with smaller numbers, so that's why I did that step first. So here we have x is equal to negative b, so negative 20 plus or minus negative 20 squared minus 4 times 1 times 14, and this is all going to be underneath a square root. Okay. And it's going to be all over 2 times 1. Okay, so x is going to be equal to 20 plus or minus simplify what's inside the square root here. So I have negative 20 squared minus 4 times 1 times 14. So that's going to be 344. Okay. And this is going to be divided by 2. Okay. So again, you want to split your answers into 2 parts. Okay, so x is going to be either equal to the positive version of this, which is going to be 20 plus square root of 344 divided by 2. So that's $19.27, I guess. And for the second solution, 20 minus the square root of 344. And I'm going to divide that by 2. So 73 cents. Okay, so those are your 2 prices. You might want to write a dollar sign, so I'm going to write them together. X is equal to either $19.27 or 73 cents. For part B, you're supposed to find out what ticket price will raise the most money. So you're supposed to find the vertex. And for that, since we already have the 2 x-intercepts, I'm just going to average them and then find out where the middle is and plug that into the equation to find out what the maximum revenue is. But it doesn't even ask for that. So we can actually just average the 2 x's if we wanted to. So here we go. X is equal to 19.27 plus 0.73 all over 2. Okay, so you will get, actually, it works out to be a very nice number, 1927 plus 73 cents divided by 2 will actually give you $10. So the ticket price that will raise the most money is actually $10. And just for the sake of curiosity, if you wanted to find out what that revenue is going to be, you can just plug in 10 into the original question. I'm doing this because you might be asked to do this for the quiz, of course, and just so you guys know how to do everything. So this would be 25 times 10 squared, which is negative 2,500, plus 5,000 minus 350, and that will give us, let's see now, plus 5,000 minus 350. So that's going to give you a max revenue of $2,150. Okay. So in regards to the actual answer that they were looking for, they're just looking for the $10. The $2,150 is extra. It's just something that would be nice if you were able to do it, because some of the questions may ask for it. Okay, and for part A, of course, these are the 2 solutions that will give you that will allow the student council to break even. So we'll move on to that last example, number 11. It is very similar to one of the questions that was done in class. So there's crushed rocks around a rectangular garden, and we want to find out what kind of width we can have for this border. Okay, so the setup is 6.25 meters by 5 meters. There's an area of 6 meters squared that can be covered by the crushed rocks. So we're going to try to find out what the width of the border is going to be. Okay, and the first thing that we need to do is to calculate what is the total width that's on the outer rectangle. In this case, it's going to be 6.25 plus 2w. Remember, there's a w on either side. Okay, and at the top and the bottom as well, because it is supposed to be uniform width. So over here, this would be 5.0 plus 2w. Okay, what this means is when I multiply these two dimensions, the area must be equal to the sum of 6 and 31.25. Okay, so my setup is going to be something like this: 6.25 plus 2w times 5 plus 2w is equal to 6 plus 31.25. So hopefully when I multiply all this out, the numbers will all look very nice. 6.25 times 5 is going to be 31.25. That is expected because the dimensions here are the dimensions on the inside, so that is expected. Second part is going to be the outside, so 6.25 times 2 is going to be given as 12.5w. Similarly, on the inside, 2 times 5 is going to give us 10w. And then finally, 2 times 2 is 4. And then I'm just going to leave it as this for right now. I could have combined them, but actually that makes it for unnecessary work, because right now I can actually just cancel out the 31.25 on either side. And that does make things a little bit easier. So I have 4w squared plus 22.5w is equal to 6. Okay, having subtract 6 from both sides, you get a final form of 4w squared plus 22.5w minus 6 is equal to 0. Okay, and this is the part that you're going to use the quadratic formula for. And so this case, w is going to be equal to, let's try that again. W is equal to, okay, what are our BCs here? A equals 4, B equals 22.5, and C equals negative 6. Okay, that's better. Okay, so negative 22.5 plus or minus 22.5 squared minus 4 times negative 6, and then we're going to take the square root of that, which hopefully result with a nice number, and then we divide that by 2 times 4. Okay, so again, we're going to use the calculators to simplify what is underneath the square root. So 22.5 squared minus 4 times 4. Oops, sorry. Okay, 22.5 squared minus 4 times negative 6. So that will be 602.25. And we're going to have to take the square root of that, and we divide by 2 times 4, which is, of course, 8. Okay, so we're going to take the square root of this thing right here. It's going to be 24.54, so you can just round it to 24.5, I guess. And this will be divided by 8. So you can clearly see that one of our solutions would not be valid. The negative one will not work because we have negative 22.5 minus 24.5, which will make for a negative number, and we cannot have a negative width. So this solution will be rejected. On the other hand, the negative 22.5 plus 24.5 solution, divided by 8 solution, that will be positive, and we can actually do something with that one. So let's see, plus 22.5. Oh, sorry, minus 22.5 minus 22.5 divided by 8, and so you get 0.25. Actually, if you round properly, if you did not cut off the decimal right at the start, you actually get 0.26 meters for your width. And I think that's all they asked for, how wide the border is going to be. So you can put a nice box around your answer, and that's the end of that one. So this is a more typical question where you have to set up the equation for yourself. If you look at the previous 2 or 3 questions, you can see that you're always given the quadratic equation. So that makes life a lot easier. This one is a more challenging question, and I would expect that this will be on the quiz. Okay, so that concludes this video. Hopefully it's helped you study for 7.7. The quiz is going to be on May 9th. That's the Thursday, and I'll see you guys then.